Today I'm going to show you how to make a turkey placemat. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get your background paper. You're going to lay it flat, and if it's curled up like mine, you're going to use things to weight it down so that it lays flat. And this is going to be the surface that we work on. Now, in order to do this craft, you're going to need construction paper of different colors. You're going to need glue, liquid glue or glue stick. You're going to need masking tape potentially for the shape of the circle, and you're going to need clear tape or clear shelf liner paper. So what you do, and we need markers to decorate with and scissors. So once you have your background color, I decided I want to use black. The first thing you want to do is you want to make your turkey shape. So you can use in order to make this turkey shape, we're going to use a smaller circle and a bigger circle. I'm using the lids of a couple of jars that I had in the cabinet. You can use different size lids if you like. You can use the inside or the outside of a big roll of tape, whatever you feel most comfortable with. You want to take your pencil. I'm using a scrap of paper because I try not to waste. And I'm going to draw my first circle. And then my second smaller circle on the same piece of paper. So now I'm going to cut out my circles. And I want to use brown because I want the base for my turkey to be brown. And if you're not really good with scissors and you have an older brother or sister or a parent at home who wants to help you, that's great as well. And now I'm just cutting out my smaller scissors. I'm cutting out my smaller circle, not my scissors. Okay, so I'm going to put those two circles aside. And now I want to make my feathers for my turkey tail. So I have these strips of construction paper that I cut down from larger sheets. And I am going to put them one on top of the other so I can make several cuts at the same time. I'm going to make a fold in my paper. And then I am going to cut this section off of my larger piece of construction paper. If you have regular construction size sheets, you just want to make a fold in the construction paper so you now have two sort of panels. Now I want to take, with it folded, I want to take my pencil and I want to make a curved or sort of a curved peak in the top, and somewhere halfway down the bottom, let's see, I'll draw it in magic marker so you can see it better. I want to make a peak coming to sort of a point at the top, and then I want to come in for my shape on the bottom. So it almost looks like super long rabbit ears. Then I want to take my scissors and I just want to follow those lines that I made. And for the side with the cut, I just want to make sure that I go all the way down the paper with the cut so that the pieces will separate. And if the pieces haven't all separated, you just open up the section and cut right down the seam. And now I take my template, I get rid of my excess construction paper, my bits, I put it to the side. I want to clean up the edges of the pieces that I cut. And I'm going to use one of them. I still have my construction paper because I think I'm going to need a few more. So I still have my construction paper. I'm going to use my already cut out feather as a model. Oops. And just follow that with the pencil from the top to the bottom. Then I can get rid of that, and I'm going to cut up straight line based on what I drew. And then I'm just going to make it come to a pointish shape on this side, and then making sure that it goes in on the bottom. And it's okay if not all your feathers have the exact same shape, because sometimes birds' feathers can be a little bit different. I want to go through and look at my pieces that I cut and make sure a couple of these don't actually come to a point, and I want to correct that, so I'm just going to recut them so that they do come more to a point. And then I think we are good to go with our feathers and our turkey body. So I lay out my placemat. The first thing I want to do is I want to lay out my tails, feathers. I want to give it a nice little design that doesn't go off the mat, but goes all the way around the mat in a kind of semicircle, like the tail would be of a peacock or a turkey if you were looking at them. And so I just want to lay my feathers down so I can see where they go. I don't want to glue anything yet because I might want to move them. So now I'm just placing my tail feathers, making sure they're on my placemat, not going too far off. room for a few more feathers. I'm going to raise this up. And then once I'm done gluing the feathers down, then I can glue my turkey body. So, now that I know where I want my feathers to go, I start by picking up my leaves for my feathers and using my liquid glue. I'm going to put glue down on the paper underneath where my leaves are, or my feathers are. And then I'm just going to glue or place pressure on my feathers and glue them down. And then I'm just going to put pressure and lay them down. Now I'm going to put my hand back on the piece, pick up my feathers, and begin to put glue underneath this side. So I just put my hand down, I lift up, put down glue, and I put pressure on my feather. Move to the next feather, put my glue down, put pressure. And I keep doing this, going around to every piece until all of them are glued down. And now all my pieces are essentially glued down. Now I take the body of my turkey And I want to leave a little bit of room for feet down here, so I'm not going to put it right at the bottom. I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to put glue on the back of it. And then keeping the bottom of the body flush with the leaves or the feathers, I am going to place that circle down and apply pressure to make sure it's glued into place. When that's done, I take my smaller circle, which is the head of the turkey, put glue on that, and I am going to place that right on at the top of the other circle, being the head of my turkey. Now, I want to make my details for my turkey, and so I'm going to use some white paper that I'm going to color yellow to make my beak. So I'm just going to use a triangle shape and color it yellow. I use my scissors to cut out my beak. Now it's a little big, so I'm going to make my triangle a little smaller. And I'm going to use a piece of red scrap paper to make a the sort of embellishment that the nose or beak can have on a turkey. It's sort of a circular shape. Some people call it their gobble. I don't think that's the technical word. But it's a growth that comes out. It's usually red, somewhere around the beak. So I'm going to glue those down. I start first with the red piece. Put glue on that. And place it down just to the left of the center. Then I place my beak that I put glue upon. And now I need eyes. So I just take a piece of paper, just scrap, because the eyes don't have to be super big. I fold the paper in half and I cut a circular shape out. That way I fold it in half because then I'll have two shapes the same size. Doesn't have to be an exact circle. It could be an oval. It could be a square shape even. And then I'm going to take, when I have my circular shape, I put it down on my turkey image to see if the eyes are what I want. And then I just put glue down. and 2 dots like that. I place 1 circle down on top of the beak, and I place the other circle down on top of the beak, and mine are actually even touching. Then I take a black magic marker and I make my eye, and I make my second eye, and I'm just dabbing my magic marker till I get my eye to be the size I want it to be. Okay, and now we're going to go back to our white paper, and I'm using white because I don't have yellow construction paper, and I'm going to make my feet. So they're not going to be very big because I don't have very much paper. So I kind of just make almost like a circular top, and then 3 sort of toes coming down. And what I'll do is I'll fold my paper in half, so when I cut this out, I will have 2 copies. So now that I folded my paper in half, when I cut out this top piece, I will have 2 pieces. So I just cut around the shape that I made. And now I have 2 pieces. I'm just going to color them yellow. And when I'm done, I take glue and glue down 1 foot, and glue down the other foot. Now we're almost done designing the turkey. I think it needs a bit of more drama, so I'm gonna take my dark marker and I'm just gonna outline the turkey head so you can see it better, and the beak, and the gobble, just so you can see it better. And I want to put some wings on my bird. So I'm going to take one of my extra feather pieces. I'm going to fold it in half. then cut out wing shapes. So I'm gonna figure out what are the best ways to make my wing shapes, and I think that's kind of cool. That's also kind of cool. I think I will use it like this. And just cut a wing shape out of the bottom. Cut that shape out. And then that's the wing on one side, and I just copy the same shape on this other side. And cut that out as well. If you don't feel like this part of the cutting is for you, you can certainly get help from somebody a little bit older. And so now I take my wings and I put them, glue them down. And now you have your not your pilgrim, you have your turkey placemat. But here's the thing. This could easily get damaged. So in order to really make this a good user placemat, we're going to make it a little stronger by using clear tape. It's clear packing tape, so it's much thicker than Scotch tape. Or you could use clear shelf liner if you have that on hand. So I want to get my tape started by peeling off from its base. And then starting across the bottom of my picture, I'm just going to place tape over the piece, making it lie flat and also making it a little bit waterproof. And then I keep going. Making sure I overlap my tape, meaning that I come down onto my tape with the next piece. And you want to make sure you cut your tape off bigger than the piece of paper so that way any excess you can wrap behind it. And keep going until you have covered the entire piece. Almost done. I think probably just one more piece. And last level. Press out any air bubbles. Flip it over, and then all the extra pieces of tape, you just fold them back to the back side. On the other side as well, extra pieces of tape that came over the side, you just fold it behind. Have a little bit of tape left over on the top and the bottom. And so I'm just going to cut that off. So you see here at the bottom, there's more tape than I need. I'm just going to take my scissors and go right back over it and cut off the extra. And then the same for the top. I just follow the line of the paper with the scissors. And there you have a Thanksgiving placemat that you can use, eat off of. You can even put items directly onto this. And it is a great holiday, festive, decorative kind of thing.